Next, we will talk about predicate. You have already known about what is the subject. What is the subject? It is actually the doer who is doing the action. And what is the predicate? It is that part of a sentence which tells us about the subject. It is that part of the sentence which tells us about the doer. You know what is the subject? It is the doer. What action is being done by the doer is shown by the predicate. It is that part of the sentence. It is the verb part of the sentence and consists of finite verb, object, and other element. So this part of the sentence, that is predicate, it contains verb part. It contains finite verb, object, and other elements. So before discussing more about predicate, first of all, you must know what is finite verb. So what is a finite verb? It is a form of verb that is limited by tense, that is past or present, and agrees with its subject. Or we can say it is the main verb. A finite verb is the main verb in a sentence which can change its form. Which can change its form according to the tense, whether the tense is past or present, or it can change its form as per the subjects. You know, subject can be singular or plural. He or she, that is singular. They, that is plural. So the main verb, which is also known as finite verb, can change its form. For example, you can see there, she sings. You know, she sings. Here the final verb is sings. And she sang. So you can see the word sing is going to be changed. In the first, when we are talking about present tense, we are saying she sings. But when we are talking about past tense, we say she sang. So in the first example, we are using sings, and in the second instance or example, we are using sang. So you can see there that how the main verb is changing. So what is the final verb? It is the main verb which can change its form. It depends upon your subject. It depends upon the type of the tense. It also changes its form as per the subject. For example, I am here, which is the verb here. I am, he is. You can see here the word am is. They are used as a verb. So I am. What is the subject there? I. So we are using am after I. But when the subject changes, when we are using he, then the verb is. So we use is with the he or she, and we use am with the I. So you can see how the verb is changing its form. It can stand alone as the main verb of a clause. For example, she walks to school or they walk to school. You can see here, she walks to school. Here we are talking about simple present tense, and the verb, the subject is singular. The subject is singular, and we are using walks. She walks to school. And when we are talking about past tense and our subject is plural, that is they, then it becomes they walk to school. It is not they walk to school or they walk to school. They walk to school. In short, we can say what is the finite verb? It is the main verb in a sentence, and it can change its form as per the situation, as per the type of tense, as per the type of the subject. Okay. And what is an object in a sentence? An object in a sentence can be a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase that receives the action of a verb, and it receives the action of a verb or completes the meaning of a preposition. It typically follows the verb in a subject verb object like structure and answers who or what was acted upon. So you can simply understand this by some examples. For example, she kicked the ball. So first of all, you have to first identify, you have to find the subject here. She kicked the ball. Which is the subject here? She. She kicked the ball. Now, which is the main verb or simply verb? Kicked. Now, what she did? She did. She kicked the ball. So, what action upon what the action has been done? That is shown by object. So, what is the object here? It is the ball. Okay. Now, it directly receives the action of the verb. For example, he ate an apple. Now, what he ate? An apple. So, what is the what is the effect of the verb upon something? And that something is the object. So, here object is apple and subject is he. It receives the direct object or benefits from the action usually appearing before the direct object. For example, she gave me a gift. She gave me, no, but she gave me a gift. So that is object. It follows the preposition to create a phrase. The cat is in the box. So it is following a preposition. Which is the preposition there? In. So the cat is in the box. The cat is under the table. So it is coming after the preposition. So now let's come on our main topic, which is predicate. So what is predicate? It is the part of the sentence which tells us about what is being done by the subject. For example, in the sentence, Ram is working in the fields. Which is subject there? Ram. Who is working in the fields? It is Ram. So Ram is the subject. So what Ram is doing? Is working in the fields. So is working in the fields is predicate. So a sentence mainly consists of two parts. One is subject, which is doer, and other is predicate. That is what action, what is being done by the subject. And in the sentence, the tallest boy won a prize yesterday. Who won the prize yesterday? The tallest boy is subject. Won a prize yesterday. So won a prize yesterday is the predicate. Sometimes the whole predicate or part of it is placed before the subject for the sake of emphasis, for the sake of convenience. Sometimes we use the whole predicate or part of it before the subject. In the examples we have discussed earlier, we were using predicate after the subject. But in some cases, we can use predicate or part of it before the subject. For example, gone are the days. Gone are the days. So, which is the subject there? What we are talking about? We are talking about days. Who has gone? That days. Those days are gone. So here subject is days. Gone are the days. So what is gone are the? Gone are the predicate. Days is the subject. So it means those days are gone. It means the speaker is trying to tell that those days are gone. Sweet are the uses of adversity. Sweet are the uses of adversity. What we are talking about? We are talking about adversity. So adversity is the subject and its uses are sweet. So sweet are the uses of adversity. Right? Next we will talk about pattern of sentences. We will discuss what are the different types of sentences, how a sentence can be formed. So verb patterns in the sentences. There are different types of verb patterns. We will discuss about those verb patterns. Refer to the structure or arrangement of the verbs and the elements. Elements is the different parts of the sentence such as objects, complements or clauses. We will discuss all about these things that follow them. Different verbs require different patterns depending upon their meanings. So different verbs, may have different type of arrangement, different types of patterns, and it depends upon their meanings. Let me discuss about some types of verb patterns. So first of all, we have verb plus object. Let me take the first example. We have verb plus object. Here, the verb is followed by an object. That is, first verb will come and then object will come. And that object can be noun or pronoun. For example, she wrote a letter. Which is the subject there? She wrote a letter. Which is the verb there? Wrote. She wrote a letter. So wrote is verb, letter is object. What she wrote? She wrote a letter. So you can see there, letter is coming after verb. Is letter coming, is the object coming before verb or after verb? After verb. So you can see the verb is followed by object. Okay. Then we have verb plus infinitive. Now what is infinitive? It is also a kind of verb which is preceded by to. And infinitive is the base form of a verb preceded by the verb to. You know, earlier we have talked about finite verb, which is the main verb. Then we have another kind of verb which is called infinitive. And this type of verb is known as base form of a verb and is preceded by the word to. For example, to eat, to sleep, or in some cases without to. And in some cases we have infinitive without to, and this is called a bare infinitive. It acts as a verbal, meaning it functions as a noun, adjective, or adverb within a sentence rather than acting as the main verb. Main verb will be different. So another type of verb pattern we have is verb followed by infinitive. For example, I want to read this book. I want to read this book. First of all, you have to find the subject. Which is subject there? I. Okay. I want to read this book. What is want to read this book? It is a predicate. Now, I want to read this book. Which is the main verb there? I want. Want is the main verb. Now, to read. I want to read this book. So, you can see read. Read is also type of verb, but it is preceded by to. So, to read becomes base form of the verb. Base verb, which is called infinitive. So, I is the subject, want is the main verb, to read is the infinitive or base form of the verb, this book, and book is the object. About what type of book I want to read. So is it clear to all? Yes, sir. Next, she promised to call. She promised. She promised. Again, this is the action word. She promised. So promise is the main word. Now to call. She promised to call. Again, call is again a verb, but it is preceded by to. So to call is the base form of the verb, which is called primitive. Clear?